This is BCA-101, Introduction to Computers. We're in Unit 2, and we're starting to talk about web utilities. So, web-based apps are becoming extremely popular. This is the ability to use HTTP, which we learn more about later on, this communication between a web server out here in the cloud, a web server, and your device running a browser. Your device can act like a client. Sometimes I use the word thin client, but it can act as a client and it can access the software, the application here, and communicate with it in this way. In comparison to using a file transfer protocol in which you transfer the file down to a, let's say, a PC, and you have the app in your device or on the PC and you execute the app there. Here the app's being executed through the browser using HTTP. File transfer protocol, a lot of times you don't see it happening, but anytime you're downloading items from another site and a download will be coming from there to your device, if you're uploading, you're going from your device up to another device somewhere else. I mean, this can happen locally in a local area network. It can happen across the WAN. The difference here, we'll talk a little bit more about. This is trivial file transfer protocol. This one uses UDP. It doesn't check to make sure everything gets through cleanly. Much more efficient in terms of time, but there is the danger of downloading or uploading something that is has not changed or something has gone wrong with it. Alright, both of these we talk about more when we do the networking unit. Alright, now what we need to distinguish here, is this difference. Not a big difference in the world of most people using computers, but here we're running an app, and you know, you could think of your email client might be running back at your provider for the email, and you're just running something in your browser to allow you to read your email rather than downloading, let's say, Lookout or Outlook excuse me, Outlook from Microsoft and running that on your PC and using that to communicate to the email. A browser plugin is a piece of software that adds to the browser's capabilities. I'm going to move to the next page because an add-on and a plugin are very similar. If not, in a lot of cases, they're considered the same thing. They call them add-ins, plugins, add-ons. But it's a piece of software that communicates. You have the browser software, and then you add this to it, and it works with the browser to perform some tasks. For example, Flash may do some things for you. There may be Java scripts that need to execute in order to do something in particular on your computer. You can have add-ins that will play a certain video within the browser that normally wouldn't play, but an add-in would allow you to do that. Okay, so add-ins, a lot of places they call them extensions. Okay, in a lot of them they'll call them extensions, add-ins, plugins. They're all the same thing. You're going to use an extra piece of software to communicate with your browser software in order to perform some task that appears to be done in the browser. And then the last thing here there are ways in browsers to filter what's going through the browser. So you could, in a situation, filter certain websites or certain items or certain security features. We talk a little bit more on this on Unit 6 in terms you can configure the browser to filter certain items so they don't come through the browser. And so sometimes somebody would say a site doesn't work because of some filter. That filter could be in the browser, or it could be in some type of firewall that stops it before it even gets to you. All right. So that was trying to distinguish between extensions, add-ins, plugins, and so forth versus a web app. An app that you can execute using a browser and not necessarily downloading all that software to your computer. And that's it for this part.